Hey there, writers. So my video last week was a little bit of a whinge about how my family have had a little bit of a rough start to the year. And what I decided to do is basically to try to be kind to myself, to calm everything down almost to the bare minimum so that I feel like I'm moving things forward, but that I'm not becoming overwhelmed, especially by work stuff. And I promised a video to explain exactly what I was doing. So yeah, I actually did what I said. I think it was the day after I recorded that video. I had my writing class, which I teach, and then in the afternoon I kind of sat down and worked out for the rest of the month exactly what I need to have achieved to make me happy, if you like, and to feel that I have some control over the situation at the moment. So basically what this came down to was being kind to myself and giving myself some grace and appreciating that at this exact point I can't be doing like crazy writing challenges or stuff like that. One thing that I especially wanted to make more time for was reading. I've always read a lot, especially before bed. And what's kind of happened is like it's kind of nice stuff in a way, in that like I'm watching more TV at the moment because my husband had an operation last week and he's recuperating. So we've been watching Silo. It's like a sci-fi kind of dystopian drama thing with Rebecca Ferguson, which is really good. And we're getting through that far too quickly. I'm enjoying that, but it's kind of cutting into reading time later in the evening. I've also been really enjoying doing the word games in the New York Times. I got a subscription for the year so that I could see my stats and things, which is quite exciting. I started off with Wordle. I'm such a nerd, I appreciate that. And now there's about 5. There's connections, I do strands, there's like a mini crossword on there. And that's really good fun as well, and like good for the mind and everything. But doing them takes at least half an hour every evening, and so again that's cutting into my reading time. So I do want to make sure that I'm prioritizing reading, because reading's really good for us in general, but also as a writer, reading is obviously fantastic for us. And I made a video about that a little while ago, actually, if you're interested, about why you should read lots as a writer, and I will try to remember to link that down in the description below. So what I like to do when I'm reading, I like to have at least one fiction, well actually just one fiction book on the go. At the moment I'm reading Atalanta, which is like a Greek myth retelling about Atalanta, who was really fast and went on the Argo with the Argonauts and Jason to go and get the Golden Fleece. I'm not loving it, to be honest. I'm a little bit obsessed with Greek myths and Greek myth retellings, and I think that they can be done fantastically, like the Song of Achilles and Circe, and there's a few others that I've really enjoyed. This one seems a little bit desperate to make a story, if you like, and what I found is that what's happening to Atalanta is actually going alongside stuff which is much bigger that is happening to other characters. So I would rather have it from the point of view of the other characters, and she's kind of a witness to a lot of what's happening, essentially. So yeah, it's definitely not my favorite one, but I'm quite near the end. I will finish it soon. The other thing that I'm reading for non-fiction, so I like to have a non-fiction book going as well. Sometimes I like to have 2, in that I'll have an audio book going as well, and I have actually got 2 going at the moment, but I'm working my way through The Artist's Way. I spoke about this last week as well. I'm quite enjoying it, but I'm really not feeling that it resonates with me, and I don't feel inclined, if you like, to do the exercises to do it properly, basically. I'm reading it and I am thinking about what she's saying, but I think it will probably be of use when I'm teaching people rather than necessarily for me and for my writing. So yeah, I'm nearly finished this one as well. I'll finish that in a couple of days. And then the audiobook that I'm listening to, I can't actually remember what it's called, but basically it's about how you live by the seasons, and it takes examples from Japan and how they kind of celebrate the changing of the seasons and do different things according to the seasons. And that's pretty interesting and quite different as well. So, you know, I've kind of got a creativity book going, and then I've got something that's quite different, and that's good. So yeah, I just need to make sure that I'm working through those and reading every day. So the other thing which was quite essential, I think, was to step back from things I really didn't have to do this month. So I'm not saying, you know, like not step outside of the house or anything like that, but just things that I don't need to do. So the things that I have to do each week is I have to teach my creative writing class on a Wednesday. I need to make one YouTube video, this being my YouTube video for this week. And then I like to make 1 or 2 shorts, which I share on YouTube and on Instagram. In particular, I don't have to do the short necessarily, but I like to. So, but as long as I get the YouTube video done, then I'm pretty happy with that. A short is a definite bonus, and any other social media posts are also a bonus. I'm definitely not going to be overthinking that. Like a couple of days ago, my youngest son had grown out of a hat, which I knitted him. He was really into Harry Potter, and I made him like a Gryffindor hat, and it doesn't fit him anymore. And I tried it on the dogs, and it fitted Paris very well. And I took a picture, and he looked so cute. So I posted that on Instagram. That was like an easy win for the day, as opposed to having to think out content more, which ideally you should, you know, if you're trying to build platforms and sell books, but I just don't really have that in me at the moment. So just posting that picture was it was quite nice. I was doing something, connecting with people, if you like, and it made me feel happy to see him in the little hat. So that was cool. Then I also work as a book coach and a developmental editor. And what I've decided to do is kind of put those on hold for the time being, unless it's somebody who I work with regularly or a friend who needs me to work on a manuscript for them. So I've got a couple of people that I book coach. So if they get in touch with me, that's absolutely fine. I'm happy to book coach for them, but I won't be taking on really new clients at the moment. And like developmental edits, if there's somebody who needs me to do a developmental edit who, you know, I've kind of connected with before, then I will, but I'm not taking on new stuff at the moment. And I'm actively thinking about how to move that business forward a little bit, how to be, just making sure that I'm working on the books that I want to be working on, that I'm getting a good return for my time. And there's a course that I'm looking into doing, which could be really, really good. But that definitely won't be for this month. That'll be for, you know, coming up. So like I say, yeah, so we've got the video, we've got kind of editing isn't really happening at the moment. I've got the other little thing I need to do is posting in my Facebook group. So I have a Facebook group. It's called AuthorTubers Assemble, and it's just a really lovely place for AuthorTubers to come together, to share videos, to chat if anybody's got anything that they're not sure about. There are loads of helpful people there who will help if they've got anything that they want to share that they think could be useful to other AuthorTubers. It goes on there, and it's a really nice little community, and I need to make sure that I post in that, and prepping for my writing class as well. Obviously I don't just turn up and do the class. I need to prep for that. So that's kind of a couple of hours. So yeah, when it comes to writing, I definitely want to make sure that I'm moving my book forward. So my plan is to finish my second draft by the end of this month. I wrote a good first draft, 57,000 and something words in November for NaNoWriMo. So I want to make sure that I've gone through that again by the end of the month, and then I will decide for February whether I want to leave that for a while, whether it's ready to send out to my beta readers and critique partners, whether I want to work on something else entirely. Yeah, but just as long as I've kind of gone through that again. So I've got another 11 days from when I'm filming this to do that. So that's kind of the main work thing, and that's quite important that I get that done, I think, kind of for me, if you like, to really feel that I'm moving that on, because I've got a lot of book ideas at the moment. I've got a lot of stories that I'm wanting to write, and so I do want to be moving forward with that. So aside from that, basically more relaxing, not working late. I do tend, especially when I'm doing things like NaNoWriMo, to work until kind of midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. That's not going to be happening. Like kind of 10 p.m. absolute maximum for sort of work stuff is what I'm aiming for. I appreciate that that's still late for a lot of people, but it just tends to be the way that I work best when I've kind of finished for the day, in that, you know, I finish making supper and cleaning up, and kind of everything's been done around the house. That's when I'm at my most creative, and it's when I find that I write best. So that's just what works best for me. Eating right, definitely. Over Christmas there was way too much chocolate, in particular, so just making sure that I'm like eating the good stuff, keeping me fueled, and making sure that I'm exercising as well. I'm not feeling, you know, inclined to train for a marathon or anything like that, but just making sure that I'm moving my body every day. I walk my dogs every day, but even if it's just kind of 10-15 minutes of stretching or yoga, you know, just making sure that I'm doing something. We've got our rowing machine going again now, which is very cool. The kind of monitor on it was broken, and so you couldn't tell how fast you were going or how far or anything, so it was really annoying, but we managed to find a replacement, so that's really cool. So I'll be doing quite a bit of rowing. I think that's awesome. And the last thing is drinking lots of water, which may sound funny to you, but we have a joke in my house that one of my kids could, like, their leg could fall off, and the first thing that I would say is, have you drunk a big glass of water? So I need to be taking my own advice there, because guys, it's important to hydrate. Well, I really hope that you've had a good start to the year, that you're being gentle to yourself, whether it's going well or not. I'd absolutely love to hear what you've been up to this month and what goals you have for the near future. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.